Hey y'all, welcome to Teague in Quarantine, Episode 1. For this lesson, you are going to be learning how to use one-point perspective to draw this. You are going to be creating a drawing of the 200 building hallway. Now, what you need to pay attention to is all of your converging lines coming down to your vanishing points. Now, for those of you in class that have already taken your photograph, you're just going to continue working from this point. This is just going to be a quick refresher. Any student that is like me, that is in quarantine, or any student that is sick, there are photos that are loaded up that you can use to do this process. So the first thing that you're going to do is you want to go in and you want to create the drawing of the back edge of, or the back wall of the 200 building hallway, meaning specifically the the doors and the windows that are over on each side. So to do that, all you're going to do is you're going to start off by using your ruler. You're going to draw a rectangle. You don't want to draw this rectangle too large. If it's too big of a rectangle, then that far-facing wall that you're going to be drawing is going to be so huge that you're not going to have enough room to be able to get the rest of the hallway in. You also don't want the faraway wall that you're drawing to be so small that you can't use the linear perspective to get those converging lines in a way that isn't clean. So if you're drawing super tiny, it's going to be really hard. If you're drawing too big, you're not going to show enough detail. So go a couple of inches at the most. I'm going to start off with my rectangle. I'm going to divide this rectangle approximately in half to symbolize the center of the doors. I'm going to come over and drawing vertically two lines that come across like so. And then coming across like this, I know that we've got windows on either side of the 200 building doors. So here's the windows, here's the bottom piece. I know that these doors have a crossbar that we push to open those up. So the cleaner you can make this drawing at this point, the easier this is going to be for you. I know that down at the base of the doors there is a piece of metal that keeps it from being kicked and scuffed. I know that up here at the top is where my exit sign is. I'll go ahead and just erase that extra line that I don't need right now. I also know that I've got the triangles up on these top corners that control the hydraulics that automatically close the doors. And then I've got my vertical rectangles that are the windows looking through. So I've got windows here, I've got windows here, I've got the division and the two doors with the exit signs. Just some basic details there. That when I look at it, now is this exactly like like what we're seeing? I'm a little bit off, but you'll forgive me, and that's okay. Because what's important here is understanding how you're going to use linear perspective to create the illusion of the hallway. So when I look at my source photograph, I can see that when I go through and I look at this vertical, or this long line, this long line, this long line, this long line, the lines of the lockers coming down, the lines of the base of the lockers moving up to the floor. If I were to take my ruler and line this up on all of these different converging lines, they are all coming forward to one particular point. That is the vanishing point that you're going to be using for this drawing. This shows the eye level. So for this particular picture, this shows where I was holding my camera when I took this picture. This is where point of view comes in. If I were laying down over on this side over here, my point of view would be coming up from this direction. It just changes the way the placement of the vanishing point. So once I figure out where my vanishing point is, I'm going to go in. It's not directly in the center. It's a little bit over to the right-hand side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this vanishing point and I'm going to connect it to each of the four corners of this far wall. What this is going to do is it's going to create the division between the walls and the ceiling and the floor. And depending on where your vanishing point is, that is going to determine the point of view of how you're looking at this particular hallway. It's just glamorized connecting the dots. Connecting my vanishing point to each of these four corners. This comes down like so. So that I've got something that looks like this. Now at this point, the next thing that I'm going to pay attention to is the division of where the intersection of the hallway comes in. So we've got the hallway that goes like this. But there's also this hallway that comes across, making that X intersection. So to create that illusion on your drawing, what you're going to do is you're going to come in, you're going to line up this horizontal line right here, and I'm going to slide this down about halfway down my page, and then I'm going to draw that line coming up. This represents this corner line right here. This is going to be this. And then I'm going to do that at approximately the same edge here. If I want to make this line up exactly the same, I'm going to go horizontally like this. I'm going to slide this down until I reach this corner. That tells me that this is directly across. It's all geometry. And this goes straight up and down parallel to this. So now I've got corner 1 of the hallway, corner 2 of the hallway. Then I'm going to create that gap. So this is going to come down like so. Same thing, we're looking at this across. I'm going to take this, I'm going to draw this across like so. And then, so now it almost looks like I've got a door here and a door here. To create that hallway effect, to create that illusion, I'm going to come in, I'm going to draw a horizontal line across here, a horizontal line across here, and then I'm going to come up and I'm going to do a horizontal line over here, and a horizontal line over here. That creates that illusion that I can walk in this corridor or in this corridor, just creating that visual space. The last thing that you need to do at this point is start to get the ceiling tile lines and the tile lines of the floor tiles coming through like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm really going to pay attention to where this line intersects my door here, and where this line intersects my door here. Now look at that. That's right on the inside of that line of the hydraulic, right on the inside of this line of the hydraulic. So with that, looking at that being my vanishing point, I'm going to line this up, not drawing through my door. It comes up like this. And then this comes up like this. And now I look at my placement and proportion. All of these ceiling tiles, look at these lights. This is really skinny, getting a little wider, getting a little wider, getting a little wider, all the way down. So all of my ceiling tiles coming across, I want to create that same effect. So I'm going to stack up these lines very, very close to each other at the initial point of this hallway. The closer I am to this door, oh, hear my cat? My cat is meowing at me saying, "Hey, come on, man, why are you drawing? Pet me." Yeah, she's a little pain in the butt. But the further up I go, the more space I'm going to put in between each of these lines, and that is going to help create that illusion of space coming closer to you as we're moving through that hallway. Farther away, getting up closer to you like this. Now, with your floor tiles, I've drawn this hallway of Mingus so many times I can tell you right now. You've got a division line here. You have a division line halfway between your two doors. You have a division line at the door jamb. And then you've got a division line halfway between these pieces. These floor tiles are much, much smaller than the ceiling tiles. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to repeat those exact same steps on the top. Connect my vanishing point to this first hatch mark that I made. This comes down like this. And again. And again. Whoa, oh, look at me. Almost drawing through my door. Don't do that. That just makes more work for yourself. Because then you got to go in and erase marks that you don't want to be there. And then, look at that, yep. Then we're going to go in and we're going to put the vertical lines like this, coming across. The closer you are to the door, the closer those lines are going to be stacked up next to each other. I'm actually going to move my ruler down like that so I can see that visual stacking just a little bit better, so I can control that sense of space. The closer I get to the bottom, the larger these lines are going to be. And as you draw this across, you will start to see that, oh, now what do I do right there? Going into that hallway, I'm going to make that row go down the hallway like that. And I'm going to come in like so. This can just be approximation. Don't get all hung up on making this exactly perfect. You want to make sure that you are getting that sense of depth and space moving through. This is stage one, getting the intersection of the hallway, getting your wall and doors in on the back, and then showing the floor tiles and the ceiling tiles. That's the first step that you want to do.